Hey guys, this is Andrew for TradingSenses.com. I've been working as a professional trader for the past 6 years in Hong Kong, and right now I'm doing some YouTube videos where I want to share with you guys all my experience, and I want to show you guys how I do my analysis and how I build up my views on the different stocks. So if you guys want to know the different tools and techniques that pro traders are actually using to make money on the markets, you are in the right place. So today I want to make an update on AMC because I heard a lot of stuff about that in the comments of my previous videos, and I want to discuss that with you today. Let's get into it. So very quickly, the first thing, AMC is going higher. The past 2 days it took around 40%. All right, so it looks like we are actually bottomed here around 550 and we're going higher. So I'm just gonna discuss with you guys first the news, why we went higher, and I want to discuss again with you guys this very controversial topic, which is the short interest. And I want to show you how I find out what is the correct data amongst all the data you can find on the internet, and I'm going to show you why this is correct and how you can find it by yourself. So let's start with the news. So if you want to know some news about any stock, I advise you guys to use something that is free, that you can find everywhere, which is Yahoo Finance, guys. You just type AMC here and you have all the different articles that are related to the stock and that explain why it went higher. So the first thing that you can find is actually Amazon buying AMC isn't as crazy as you think. So basically this is just a rumor, but this is the reason why AMC moved higher on Thursday morning, because Amazon could emerge as a potential suitor. So they want to buy AMC. Why not? I mean, they give some reasons why they should and some reasons why they should not. But this is not really the question. The good thing, guys, is when a monster like Amazon wants to buy another monster like AMC, this is very bullish for the market. So both stocks went higher. What else can we find? We can see here that the governor Andrew Cuomo, which is like the governor of New York, announced that Big Apple theaters can reopen in the first week of March. All right, guys, this is very good news as well. If people start to go back to cinema, of course, AMC would start to make more money and it would be better for them. The question is here, guys, about when are actually gonna people able to go back to the cinema, because as this guy, which is an analyst, who is an analyst, says here, the desire to head out to movies might be overcome by caution while cinema goers wait until they are vaccinated. So don't forget, guys, we are in the COVID crisis. So if you think that all the vaccines we have, Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, are actually going to be efficient against the different variants that we have, the Britain variants, the South African variants, then of course you think that in 2021 or 2022 the COVID crisis will be finished. But of course this is not sure. We don't know what other variants we're going to have, and if those vaccines, which are for now efficient against these variants, would still be efficient against the new variants. Because guys, let me remind you how a virus is actually working. There are always mutations, which create those variants, and those who actually survive are those who can live the longer. So if we have those vaccines that kill this kind of variant, there might be another one that is actually resistant to the way we fight the virus, and that can maybe start to grow. I hope it's not going to be the case. I'm just saying that we don't know, and that this would be very important for AMC to recover fully. Now let's discuss about what happened on my other YouTube videos, guys. So I had a lot of comments coming from people like Matt Herbeck. All right, so this guy is basically saying, junk video, thank you bro, appreciate. Classic moppers asking me if I smoke bud. Then this guy Matt Herbeck again saying that there is 0.08% of the float left to buy. Let's see if this guy says something that is true and let's find out. This is going to squeeze hard, so he's believing there's going to be a short squeeze. This dude talking about me has no clue what he's talking about. All right, they're lying about the short interest with false reports. So this guy doesn't understand anything. Let's try to find who he is. All right, so if I go on LinkedIn, I type Matt Airbags. Okay, I can find this guy. No information. So basically, you can't find this guy on LinkedIn for now. But this is definitely not someone that is working in finance and that knows what he's talking about. We have otherwise here Eric Arvizu that is saying short interest on IMC is higher. All right. So I found Eric Arvizu. This is this guy. He looks actually quite educated. Houston Community College, bachelor's degree, lead technician. He's an engineer. All right, and he thinks that, but at least he's polite, and he's saying short interest on AMC is higher. Let's find out, guys. All these people, they got their data, so you can find this data on MarketBeat, MarketWatch, Bloomberg, any kind of website that is providing information about stocks. And I know where they found their data. They go on MarketWatch. All right, they think the short interest is 66%. Why? Because it's the number of shares, 37.7 million, divided by the public float. All right, the public float is the shares you can trade with during the day. And they think that the shares outstanding, the total number of shares is 330 million. So basically 37 divided by 57 gives 66%. But funny thing, guys, is that when I look at, for example, MarketBeat, and I go on the short interest, I can see 37.7 million as well here, but the short interest is 17%. Why? Because the total outstanding shares is higher. So let's find out who is correct. And so, guys, I took this data and I checked what we had, historically. And when you look historically, guys, if for the past year, so I have here the total number of shares, the shares available for trading, so the equity float, the outstanding shares, which is the total number of shares, the short interest, which is the number of shares that is short. And I added some information for you guys to be able to actually spot what is the correct data and what is not. So I added the daily volume, and then I computed by myself just a division, the public shares. The public shares as a percentage of the outstanding share. So it's like how much shares can you actually trade amongst the total number of shares. So it's just this equity float divided by outstanding shares. And I computed the short interest, which is actually the total number of short shares divided by the shares you can trade, which is the equity float. And what I see is that the public shares, as a percentage of the total number of shares, is always around 98%. Then you can see that basically it was around 55 million, last year, and that suddenly it started to grow together. Of course, every 2 weeks we have this information updated. So the last update is only on the 29th of January on all the websites. The next one is coming actually today, guys. And you can see that it went as high as 400 million shares. So when MarketWatch is saying that we have 57 million shares of public float, you can see that they are stuck on the value of October 20, guys, 6 months ago. So they just didn't update the data. All right, so they are right on the total number of short shares, which is 37 million, but they forget to see that the equity float just increased by 300% around. So another interesting thing is to see that actually, when did they raise these shares, guys? During all this rally, actually here. So this is October. All right, so it was at 5. So between October and the 29th of January, which is actually somewhere around here, we had around, the total number of shares was multiplied by 8, guys, like from 50 to 400, like 7, 8, whatever. And the reason behind, guys, look, we even have a news on this, is that, so the president and CEO Adam Aaron of AMC is saying that after raising nearly 1 billion in capital, this means that any talk of an imminent bankruptcy is off the table. All right, for AMC, they basically raised money through equity. So they emitted shares, they diluted their current shareholders' shares, like value, and they emitted new shares because, guys, this company is, here are the earnings, is losing around 4 billion annually. So of course they need money to pay the debt of like all the capacity. They need money to pay the debt of all the cinema in the United States and everywhere in the world. So this is the reason why they emit shares, and they emitted here, guys, at a very high price. All right, that's not a surprise. When your share is that high, it's the right time to actually emit shares and make some cash enter in the cashier. So I just would like to come back, guys, to this value that is 66%, that is wrong. All right, the correct value, guys, is 37 million divided by 400 million shares, which is right now the total outstanding shares. I want to show you one more thing, guys, about that. So here, guys, you have the daily volume. So the daily volume is the number of shares exchanged every day during the trading sessions. And you can see that it's around 50 million. All right, this data is available everywhere. So how come do you think it's possible that the daily volume of shares is 50 million when the total number of shares available for trading would be, as MarketWatch is saying, 57 million? All right, this doesn't make any sense, guys. When it was 57 million, the daily volume was 4 million. All right, so the daily volume of shares got multiplied by 10, and the equity float got multiplied by 8. All right, 7, 8. So this makes sense. So once again, guys, when you see that the short interest on AMC is around 60%, this is completely wrong. When you see people that tell you that there is almost no more shares to borrow in order to take a short position, this is all wrong, guys. The short interest is only 10% right now, all right? Back from 70% in October. It was 70%. All the hedge funds cut their position because right now, look, at what those guys are doing. If you go on MarketBeat and you go to institutional ownership, this is very interesting information, guys. Institutional clients are asset managers, hedge funds, all right? So during 2020, they were selling AMC, all right? You can see that the red bar is higher than the green bar. So they were selling AMC massively, and right now, what are they doing, guys? They are buying it, all right? First quarter, they are buyers, because the fundamentals come back, because there are some good news. Amazon is maybe willing to buy it. So to me, this is showing actually that this stock has more natural buyers than it used to have before. The short interest has come back to very decent levels. And I expect the stock to just do what it's meant to do. So let me finish on the technicals, guys, as I've gone through all this information with you. So technically, what do we see, guys? We had this breakout, we broke it, and now we have retested it already, and we are pushing higher. So where are our key areas of support and resistance? So as I said in my previous video, 550 was a strong support. It acted like this, and we saw a very nice move up around 40%. Right now we have a resistance at 750, okay, this orange line, because it's actually the level where we had the three most recent maximums before this big breakout. So 1, 2, 3. Even here, guys, you can see it acted as resistance. So this level is going to be a resistance to overcome, but I'm pretty confident that AMC would overcome it and push higher, because once again, in the long term, guys, we have this breakout that is retested, that acted again as support, and we saw a lot of buying flows coming in the game at these levels. So this is showing me, guys, that there is really a lot of people that want to buy the stock and hold it. So I'm pretty sure that right now we are going to go to the next FIB extension ratios. So to know them, you just measure the first wave and you apply it to the bottom of the second wave, all right? And what you can see is that you have different ratios. So the most common one is the 1.618. So this is my target for AMC, guys. So I think that within 1 year or even a few months, we might go there. So around 500% higher. I wouldn't say I'm very, convinced, but this is my preferred scenario, all right? This is my preferred scenario, that we are actually going to the 1.618 FIB extension ratio. But I wouldn't buy AMC at this level. If you guys want to buy it, you should wait. You could wait for a breakout of the 750 resistance, and then some consolidation will probably take place here, and then we would move ultimately higher, and this would be the right time to buy this stock. And if it comes back to 5, it's again a very nice level to buy. So that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you understood how I actually make the difference between the fake data and the good data, all right, just by checking what is making sense in the market: the daily volume of shares traded, the total outstanding shares, the public float, and the number of shares that is short. And given all this information, you can know for sure that the total short interest on IMC is around 10%. So that's it for me, guys. Stay close to shore.